Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to class today. Those of you who are not here, we're spending our class talking about 3 different aspects of writing process. So if you will change to the 3rd slide, it will go over our academic notes, some information I need to tell you from Salt Lake Community College, and then finally our lesson deals with writing process. So with your academic notes, remember you're recording these on your yellow papers. What is academic writing? Today we're going to make a shift in what you have written so far in class. I've just kind of given you an anything goes for your writing. Today I want you to write your response for homework using an academic voice. So we're going to talk about what that means. So record some of your notes on your yellow sheets. Slides 5, I think, through 9, we'll talk about academic style. This slide just quickly means more time is spent up front thinking about what you're writing rather than just beginning writing. So please look at the content on this slide. These next 2 slides talk about the differences between our casual writing that often imitates informal speaking and academic writing. So for example, I'll just illustrate with one of them. Language is much more specific when you're writing academically than if you are writing casually or informally speaking. You can look at the second column or the second row down where it talks about our casual speech. We would use words like illness, food, and gadgets as compared to something more specific in academic writing like respiratory infection. So would you record in your academic notes some of the specific characteristic differences that's listed in the 3rd column on this slide and on the slide. Another thing about academic writing, the verbs are so important. You can almost Google if you Google academic verbs, you'll get a list that pops up. Those are the types of verbs that you see in scholarly writing or academic writing. So what I'd like you to do with this slide's exercise is it says pick 3, you can pick 2, but practice writing a sentence of at least 15 words where you integrate 2 or 3 of these words into your sentence, and you'll find out that what are you doing that's different. You are slowing down with your writing and you're crafting your sentence rather than just spraying words onto pages. I'd like you to pull out some of your writings from the past that we've done for this class and look at it from an academic sense. Does it mimic more of casual writing style or academic style? The second thing we're going to talk about today in class will be some theory behind English 1010 and 2010. They changed the curriculum 3 years ago and came up with some overarching ideas, what needs to happen when people like me are teaching this in concurrent classes and what they're teaching as well on campus. And so there are 3 things that they want the course to do. The first one is transformational, and that means that what you learn about writing in this class can be used in other classes in other places as well. Irreversible, unlike the 5-paragraph essay that you've learned about in your previous classes, in this particular class we're trying to teach you writing concepts that later on people will tell you not to change. And the troublesome is that you start questioning some of your habits and behaviors and move into what research says turns us into better writers. So these are the 6 thresholds assignments that SLIC has put together. Please go through them. This is kind of like the main goals of writing that we will use throughout the entire semester. On slides 12 and 13, we're talking about some similarities of English 1010 and 2010. In both classes, we'll be researching using writing as a process approach and spending extensive time revising our work. In the 2 courses, the differences will be We write more essays in English 1010, and in 2010, we write other forms of, or end up with other types of products. So you can look over the differences between the two classes. All right, so the other thing that we're going to be talking about, our main part of our lesson, is some of the research about what makes us better writers. And the first thing is by using the writing process, it turns us into better writers. Without bashing AP, one of the end games with AP is that you can write within a set amount of time. Writing process, or the research behind it, says the more times and the more settings you work on a piece, the better it becomes. So in class, what we're doing today is interviewing each other and going over some of our traits and experiences with writing. So take a few minutes to look over some of these questions that, of course, you wouldn't be interviewing yourself, but we had that conversation in class. This slide is a brief overview of what research tells us makes us better writers. In the perfect world, we would all have the characteristics of skilled writers, but unfortunately, there are many things on the unskilled writers list that we all do. So a goal for each of you would be to pick one of those bad habits, and during each unit, try to move over to the skilled writing habits with that particular goal. The next thing, I want to go over a few things what research says about writing. There's a research guru, his name is James Gray, and he says the more we write with fluency, the more we understand different forms or what is acceptable. For example, in an argumentative essay or any form of essays, makes us better writers. And then finally, having the mindset that we're going to make it correct and easy to read for our readers. There is an article on this page. I'd like you to click on the Open Classroom article. Chris Blankenship is one of the teachers at SLIC in the English department. He's written an article about what recursive writing means. I use that term a lot in English 1010, so please read the article. This slide is a good example that multiple drafts of a product makes it a better product in the end. The image that you see on the screen is President Obama's draft when he went into Selma to give a speech. And you can see from the text that it's the 5th draft. So multiple drafts makes our work better. Finally, here are some other things that you can work on this semester. One that I'll point out in class is the being able to take risks and being patient as the semester goes through. You'll find yourself in 4 months being so much better of a writer, but it doesn't happen overnight. This slide shows some misconceptions we have about writing. Most people think that writing is something that some people are born with, others are not. That's not true. We spend our times in school focusing on the end product so much that we don't realize what makes us great writers is the process itself. And finally, the last misconception is that great writers love writing. Most people don't like writing, and you can read the quote by Winston Churchill. This slide, I want to point out that when you make a jump from a high school writing classroom to a college classroom, it's more than just a one-year jump. It's a huge jump. You have to really step up your game. And how do you do that? It's not that you have to be smarter. It's that you have to have a mindset that you're going to work much more on your drafts. In class, we're going to talk about another way we can learn is through using mentors. We've already discussed that this semester. The 3 examples that you see here on this slide are in your Canvas lesson. Pick one and think about what you learn about becoming a better writer by reading one of these 3 writers' works. Finally, I'm going to show this video clip from the movie Freedom Writers, and it just talks about creating a safe environment for students to take risks and share their work with others. Since all of you will be able to be doing that extensively in this class, it's a great short excerpt to see how one classroom did that without any threat from peers. And then finally, this is the homework assignment. It actually is your last mini writing assignment for Unit 1. Next time we will be talking about our first major paper. So I want you to think of any aspect of the slides today dealing with writing process and your writing habits, and respond to the question on this slide in a prompt that will eventually be uploaded into Turnitin. So that's all we have today. If you have any additional questions, please share them with me through email, and I'm going to be signing off today. Thank you.